Yep, you read the title right. You should not build around your commander in Commander, the format designed for you to build around your commander. This does not mean that your commander should not be a good or important card in your deck. Every card in your deck should still serve a purpose, including the commander. But I think many players fall into the same trap. And I know this is a hot take, so let me cook a bit before you jump into the comment section. I'll start with some examples, but first, if you like seeing videos like this, consider subscribing. It helps a lot. Let's look at Maricel the Pretender, a Grixis commander with a very unique effect. When they enter the battlefield, you can exile a creature or artifact with a cage counter on it. Then, Maricel gets the activated abilities of everything with a cage counter. So as you recast or flicker the commander, it gets stronger over time, gaining new activated abilities, and eventually this can win the game on its own as a all-in-one tapping, untapping, infinite mana, infinite everything card. A late game Maricel can be really powerful, and you could even just win the game by exiling exclusively Mirror Mad Phantasm if your deck is built for that. But if you've ever played against a Maricel deck, as soon as their commander gets countered or removed, once, maybe twice, you realize their deck is full of subpar creatures with weird activated abilities. This commander is a real trap because it asks you to play lots of bad cards that don't really do anything without the commander. And look, I get it. When you have all these synergies come together, it feels really powerful. But I think that a deck which either pops off and wins or does nothing with very little in between is gonna lead to some less than savory games. And with this commander, it really is either you combo off and win, or you sit around casting horseshoe crabs. Maricel is not the only card like this though. Beamtown Bullies is another commander where you just want to fill your deck with terrible creatures, so you can give them to your opponents. But without the commander, what are you going to do with just a leveler? Or Hinata Dawn Crowned. Hinata reduces the cost of a card for each target. So cards like Curse of Swine or Aurelia's Fury feel insane with Hinata, able to just tap down or exile the whole board. But they're kind of mid to bad without your commander. I've played against so many decks that just do nothing without their commander. It's really often new players who get frustrated when they can't cast their commander after the third board wipe, and they feel like they just can't do anything with their deck. This is why, for me, most of my decks do not have the commander as a centerpiece of the deck. And if the commander is the centerpiece or more important than my other decks, I have a ton of support, which I'll get into later. As an example, my green-red lands deck, which is Mina and Den, a lot of people ask me why I don't play Omnath. And the reason is, Mina and Den is a value piece, while Omnath is a huge threat that requires focus from my opponents. Instead of Omnath, I can just cast this little 4-drop, ramp a bit, but in a green-red Stompy lands deck, Mina and Den is great. The land ramp is really good early game, and then bouncing lands back late game to trigger landfall effects consistently is pretty useful. Yet if I swapped out the commander for a different Gruul legend, the deck still functions, because at its core it's just a green-red mid-range list where every card serves a purpose. Same with my Spellslinger deck. The commander, Noyandar, is just a finisher. Not the only finisher, but one of them. So after I play the control game, and I look to turn the corner into ending the game, I can consistently find my finisher. It's an important piece of the deck, but not one that the deck needs to function. This deck only wants Noyandar out late game when the game is close to finishing. Whenever I see a value combo commander like Gitrog or Maricel, all I see is an easy dub. Kill the commander once, watch it get swept up in a board wipe later, and then someone counters it late game to stop a combo, and that player just loses. I know it's cool and exciting to see a fun legendary creature and try and find all the synergy cards that work for it, but that just means that your deck is all synergy cards and no gas outside of your commander. And it's just a big, glaring, flashing weak point on your deck. If you really do insist on building heavily around your commander, I would be sure to pack a ton of protection. A lot of people just play Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves and call it there. But these days, that's really not enough. There are so many board wipes that you really need more than just that. The new Mithril coat is pretty great. Darksteel Plate, a classic, still good. Indestructible can help you fight through a lot of board wipes and removal, and if you're in monocolored or colorless, Commander's Plate is phenomenal. Even with all that protection, it's still not perfect. Cards like Farewell or Cyclonic Rift can really hose you, and other stacks pieces too, like Humility or Grave Pact. Secret tech though, playing Nevermore effects. If you give your commander hexproof and indestructible, other than Farewell and Cyclonic Rift, there probably isn't too many outs. So if you play something that stops players from casting a specific card, you can name Cyclonic Rift, and that probably is one of their few outs. Even still, with all of that, removal is so powerful these days, you really just need to make sure your deck has card draw, removal, and win conditions that do not require your commander to be in play. I'm not saying you shouldn't have any thought put into your commander. I've seen tons of Kenrith decks or Thrasios plus a random partner decks that don't use the commander at all. They just play these cards to get access to colors and draw a few cards here and there. That's somewhat boring in my opinion. You should make your commander a part of the 99 essentially, just one that you draw consistently. You should aim to have your commander increase the power of your deck when it's doing its thing. Think more like Tawanos making your artifact even stronger, or Teysa doubling up death triggers. These commanders are great additions when your deck is already doing its thing. Having your commander as a way to push advantage can be really powerful, so when you are in the lead, your commander will boost you that much further to just win the game. So next time you try to build a commander deck, I would recommend taking some of my advice into consideration. Be sure that your deck can function well enough if you shuffled your commander into the deck. Hopefully I've changed some minds about how they build commander decks now and in the future, but if I haven't changed your mind, or if you think I'm totally wrong, that's fine. Let me know in the comments below. I'll read all about it. I read like every comment. Thank you so very much for watching. Subscribe for more.